So, hi there. It's Thursday, May 21st, and I'm excited to talk to you today about why leaders, strong leaders, struggle to ask for help. I have struggled to ask for help for many years. It's one of my core problems that I work on regularly. How about you? Why I'm talking about this is because there's so much going on. Maybe you're not sleeping at night and you're worrying about how you're paying the next bill. How are you generating more clients? How are you supporting your staff or actually bringing on some staff to help you grow? There's so many things that we can worry about and struggle with alone, especially when you're the leader, when you're the entrepreneur, the owner of the business, or the corporate executive who's supposed to know it all, supposed to be the one who has all the answers. And that can lead to thinking that you have to figure it out all on your own, or that you're the one that has to have it all together all the time. And it's a lot of pressure. And pressure constricts, it restricts, it closes off answers and solutions, and clarity expands it. So are you noticing if you're under a lot of pressure, if you've been feeling a lot of pressure, if you've been waking up in the middle of the night and all of a sudden you start thinking how to solve this problem, and it just becomes a run-on sentence. It's like a circular cycle that keeps repeating. It doesn't open up space. It doesn't open up space for the answers to come in. And so that pressure of carrying everything alone disconnects you from your clarity. Somebody's watching who's here. Hi, Teresa. Nice to see you back. Thank you for watching today. Yeah. And, outside pressure, inside pressure, it builds. It builds. And why it's important to notice that you're even putting yourself under this pressure, because you could be holding this pressure for a long time. It might be something that you're very used to, figuring it out all on your own, having pressure. And you might even notice that your body is really tight and your breathing is shallow, and you don't sleep regularly. You can't sleep, those types of things. And it just creates, more pressure. It builds, and builds. And, I hurt my knee recently, and I feel like I was putting myself under so much pressure that my knee decided to blow out on me in a certain accident situation. And it forced me to recover and rest and lay down and ask for help. I had to ask for help. I had to ask for help to go to the doctor. I had to ask for help with cooking. I had to ask for help with moving. I had to move during the process and everything. And I don't like asking for help. It's like this pattern between being a leader who's got to figure it all out, and then I don't like not asking for help, because you should be the one who has it all figured out. And even though you feel like you need support, there's something that is resisting asking for it. And it circles around shame. It circles around guilt. It circles around, I should know this. I'm capable. I know I can solve this problem. And it kind of builds and builds and builds, and you don't get out of it. You don't get out of that pressure. You don't get out of that pressure. And what does it affect? It's important to realize that you're under this pressure because your nervous system is freaking out. Your relationships are strained. You're not talking to the people who are closest to you. And that's not just your family. Those are maybe your closest friends and the people who could actually lead you to a different perspective if you just said something to them. Your clarity is diminished. You don't have receptivity. You don't have a way for answers to come in because the pressure is blocking it. Your leadership isn't activated. You're the leader, but you're not showing up like you really could in your highest potential. and your confidence gets slightly eroded over time by that pressure. And your ability to make grounded decisions disappears because you're making choices and decisions out of fear and not knowing the whole story, or not knowing the whole way, or multiple opportunities or possibilities that could be available to you, because leaders like to keep it secret that they don't have it all figured out. And I'm talking from personal experience here. I mean, being an accountant and a CPA, I should have all financial and money situations figured out for myself. And sometimes it's just easier to lead other people instead of leading yourself. So leadership starts within, and it expands without when you have a safe place, a safe support system that you can ask for help with. And if you don't feel safe, that's something to notice as well. That's something to notice as well. So self-sufficiency, like it might be a Generation X thing or a baby boomer thing. I'm not sure about the millennials because I'm not a millennial, but I think you probably feel this as well. You're self-sufficient because as you were growing up, you kind of got thrown into the fire. You had to figure it out on your own. And you got used to that. Like if you wanted to buy clothes, you had to find the money yourself. You had to create some kind of a job to make the money. And if you had problems at school with bullying or anything like that, you kept it kind of secret because you were ashamed that you were getting bullying. People, we like to hide our problems. And that's a problem. I think that's a problem, that we like to hide our problems. And there's so many people out there like me right now who, that's our service. Is like, we listen, we provide environments for you to feel safe in so you can express the problem that is really bothering you. But if you resist expressing that problem that is really bothering you, it compounds, and it's not interest bearing. It's like deficit creating. It creates density. It creates heaviness. It creates like feeling unmotivated and stuck. Heavy energy. And heavy energy for a leader isn't very efficient. You're dragging yourself through your day instead of flying through your day, And so this morning I was on with a client, and we always have these amazing conversations and you know why we have these amazing conversations? Because the environment is safe. I am not judging him. He is not judging me. And we both feel extremely safe sharing past experiences, how we feel, what we're receiving, the guidance that's coming through. So it's a really unique client-server relationship here. And I love creating those types of environments, because if I was to look back on anything, like back on my life, I feel like I've chosen wrong a lot. I made a lot of bad choices. And those bad choices, though, had so much gold in them and so much wisdom in them that they provided for me now, that it was 100% worth it. And it's just the way things went for me. And luckily, I was able to keep a positive mental attitude throughout them. But, those times where it gets really heavy and you don't know how you're going to get out of a sticky situation. And I've been in quite a few of those. So when people bring me sticky situations, I don't judge you. I absolutely don't judge you, because I know exactly what you felt or what you're going through, and the shame and the guilt and the I should have it figured out by now reality that you're experiencing, especially around money. And so we were talking, we're both Generation X, and really, our parents are baby boomers, so they were working to provide, and that was important to them. And so it's like, okay, well, figure out, how do you work to provide? It's like, that's what they taught us, is like, you got to provide for yourself. So you got to figure out how to work to earn it and everything like that. You figure it out. And it builds an identity, and it also like puts in programming and conditioning that that's how things get solved, is you figure it out yourself. And even in corporate environments, when I worked in the public practice firms, and I would see this a lot. For some reason, in that environment, I never had a problem asking questions. I'm a very curious person. I like to ask questions, and I like to know how to do things. So if I don't know how to do it, I want to know how to do it. And so, but then I might get taught, and then I'll go and try it myself, and I'll make mistakes, of course. But I also experienced lots of people like coming in fresh out of school, where you're teaching them, they don't get it, but they don't tell you they don't get it. Because they don't want to look incapable. They don't want to look like they don't deserve the role. They don't want to get judged that they didn't learn it in school or something. And that's the thing, is school really teaches you hardly anything. It's life experience. It's getting into it and trying that teaches you. And we have to try to ask for help more, is what I'm getting at here. When we've felt that asking questions can leave us to being judged, that we don't know what we're talking about, or don't know how to do what we've signed up to do, we're incapable, or you don't deserve the role. Imagine the leader now. Imagine the leader of an organization, your business, and you have some staff, or you have clients, or you want to enroll, like you would love to have some staff helping you grow the business. Imagine you holding it all together, hiding from your business partners, your business partners, and even the experts that you hire to help you, that you don't know how to do it, that you don't know how to do something in your business. Well, you would feel the shame, the guilt, the judgment of sharing that you don't know how to do something. So what do? You don't tell anybody. It doesn't feel safe to tell anybody that you don't know how to solve any of those problems. You don't know how to get the consistent cash flow. You don't know how to market a certain product. You don't know how to do lead generation and client generation. So you struggle. You fumble along. You add more pressure on yourself, and you close off to the possibilities that are available to you. Because we've learned that. That's what we've learned, is like, I can't let anybody know I don't know what I'm doing. So I'll just struggle and toil and stay up all night trying to figure it out and do something that should take 2 hours and 20 hours and stuff like that. And these are survival patterns. These are absolutely survival patterns. And they're not thriving patterns. And so you hear a lot about, oh, I want to be thriving and flourishing and all those types of things, but we're secretly hiding that we're still surviving. We're hiding that, and that creates an immense amount of pressure on us to appear like we're thriving. And so there's this deep truth that I'm tuning into, that asking for help releases all that pressure. It releases all that pressure. Telling the truth to someone who you feel safe with releases that pressure. And when you talk to somebody, you get an outside perspective. And the solution is closer than you thought or think it is. And it stops the overthinking. It stops the overworking. It speeds up the results that you want. You want the answer. And by avoiding asking for help, you're staying stuck too long. And I've done this myself. I've stayed stuck in problems for way too long because I thought I had to figure it out by myself. I didn't want to get judged when I did ask for help, so it was just better not to even ask for help. And worse consequences happened because of it. I stayed in a alcoholic relationship for 7 years because I was afraid to ask for help from anybody on how to get out of it. And, maybe I would have left after 2 or 3 years if I would have talked to somebody, if I would have told them what I felt and got their perspective, this outside perspective, because pressure creates a lot of blind spots as well. And when you're a leader in a business and you actually start cultivating that courage to say, well, I don't know how to solve this problem, you empower the experts that you employ to help you. You empower them. And it creates this power that opens up the field, that opens up the doorways for those solutions and answers to come in. And nowadays, there isn't just one answer for every solution. And when we get into pressure and feeling pressured and overwhelmed and worry and overthinking, we narrow that doorway so tightly that we only think there is one direction. But when we trust that if we share that we don't know how to figure it out and open up the conversation in a safe way, we eliminate that shame, we eliminate that guilt, we empower the other person, the experts or the staff members that you've hired to share with you their perspective and that they're part of the solution and the answer. And when you're a one-man entrepreneur, if that's who you are, that's where someone like me, a guide, a leadership guide, a financial leadership guide, I'm also a relationship leadership guide, all kinds of guidance. You open up that perspective to drop in that I can tap into that will help you. And if you're in a corporate organization or a bigger small business where you have staff, an expert's perspective of help gathering the whole team to get the answer together empowers you as a leader, because leaders are stronger when they value other people's perspectives, when they empower the people around them to support them, because it supports the whole organization growing. And so there's, this staying secretly hiding in your pressure, in your worries, in your doubts of, I can figure all of this out. The antidote is the courage to ask for help so that you can empower your support team, whoever they are, your family, your employees, your coaches, your mentors, to open up unlimited possibilities, unlimited opportunities. And so what if asking for help isn't weakness? It's actually the strongest thing you can do. It's the strongest thing you can do. And it can get you into a state of feeling supported, actually being supported, and open to receiving the answers, the solutions to the problems that you're trying to solve. And clarity often begins in feeling safe in that initial conversation. And so what is not making you feel safe would be a good thing to look at and a good thing to bring to me to talk about. Like, why don't you feel safe? Because there's this strong current of old conditioning and patterning that we don't always realize when we're trying to figure it out by ourselves. Running is like an old pattern. And Bob Proctor, he calls it a paradigm. It's the old paradigm. And if you want to change your life, you got to change your paradigm. It's the same thing here. If you want to change, you got to start asking for help. And so you don't need to carry this all alone. And the strongest leaders are willing to let themselves receive the support. And then everything softens. That pressure softens, clarity gets restored, your nervous system relaxes, and possibilities open up for you. And sometimes it just takes one safe conversation to really soften that pressure just a little bit, enough to activate that courage to ask for help. And so that's why I've created current activation, because you're currently under pressure, and the clarity is that's what you desire. You want to know the answer to the problem that you have, but the secret hidden pressure that keeping you quiet, keeping you thinking you have to figure it out, isn't solving it. And the sleepless nights, the sweats that you wake up from the worry, they don't set you up for the best day to receive the answer or the solution. So I've created a Get Current calls to help you really get current with where you're at now, feel safe talking about the problem, and then allowing that possibility to come in through a different perspective, through my perspective, or some other way, another solution will come through. I can't tell until you call me, but it's really get honest, get clear, understand what's actually happening, what's running, what's the old program running, what's the old conditioning running, the family conditioning or the corporate conditioning that you've been through, and reconnect to that power that you have as a strong leader who is safe and secure, not knowing all the answers, so you can empower others in your team to bring you the answers. You become magnetic to the answers. So I'd love for you to see you book a Get Current call so you can tell me your problem, and we can release that pressure so you can get clarity fast. So I'll put that link in the chat or the comments below where you're watching this. And this is Receptive Radio. I go live every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. And I'll see you next week.